You're watching Poland Daily News. My name is Aleksander Wierzejski and I'm your host tonight. Christmas is here. Poles in Poland and abroad are gathering around the tables for Christmas Eve dinner. We read Holy Gospel, wish all the best to each other and eat 12 traditional vegetarian dishes. Poles celebrate this as part of Lent. An important detail to mention, one can get their presents only after all meals are done and Christmas carols are sung. Let us listen to Christmas wishes from the Polish presidential couple, President Andrzej Duda and First Lady Agata Kornhauser-Duda.
For this Christmas, we would like to wish all the best to all of our fellow Poles who live in the country and abroad. We wish you health and joy and happy moments with your families. On Christmas Eve, we sit around the table and unite according to our national traditions. Let's sing together our beautiful Christmas carols. May no one be lonely and sad in this unique time, for Christmas is the time to smile and be together. Let us remember about those in need. Let us show compassion to those who might not experience it in everyday life. I hope this Christmas will be a very special time for us all. We wish you a joyful time. Merry Christmas.
Residents of the western Belarusian city of Grodno or Hrodna kicked off the holiday season with Christmas trees made of bizarre materials in a local park. As night fell, around 500 people braved a light shower of rain to parade through the streets of the city dressed as Santa Claus and other festive characters.
More than 40 local businesses created and decorated their trees using their own products, whether sausages, car tires or gas pipes, in what is now an annual tradition since it first started 3 years ago. Each company presented its own fantasy. Each company made a Christmas tree to show what business it's in. The tree of the bus depot is made of tires. Not everyone would hit upon such an idea. It is very beautiful. Locals were impressed by the creativity on show.
Everyone created whatever they design. The tree should be traditionally green and beautiful, decorated with toys and fairy lights. This one with the sausages is beautiful too, a delicious Christmas tree. It gets more and more interesting year after year. It makes me happy. We did not have such things in our childhood, but our children can enjoy such a wonderful, bright holiday. And year after year, our city gets better and brighter. The trees are unusual. Each one has some idea behind it. Each one has a character. Well done, whoever has done that. It is obvious that they have put a soul into each tree, so it's wonderful.
As night fell, around 500 people braved a light shower of rain to parade through the streets of the city, dressed as Santa Claus and other festive characters.
The 10th Christmas Eve dinner for the homeless took place today at the Kamienica Theatre in Warsaw. The director of the theatre, famous actor Emilian Kamiński, goes out of his way to bring Christmas joy to those who don't have a roof over their head.
More than 200 people gathered at the main hall of the Warsaw Theatre, where they had the unique chance to experience Christmas atmosphere, eat a warm meal, exchange wishes and sing carols.
Chrystus się rodzi, nas oswobodzi, anieli grają, króle witają, pasterze śpiewają, bydlęta klękają, cuda, cuda ogłaszają.
Każdy ptaszek, każda myszka.
Every bird makes a nest, so it's in human nature as well to have a home. A life without a home is something I cannot accept. Every man should have a home, so we're trying to guide these people so they could escape their homelessness.
Nie mogę się pogodzić.
Christmas meals were handed out by city guards, led by Senior Inspector Alfred Paplak, nicknamed the Angel of the Homeless. Food packages were also given away. We've known a lot of them for years. There are many positive cases of people who cease to be homeless, who find jobs, get married. We always say, don't give up, it's possible, search for the right way.
Są tu pary, są tu ludzie, którzy jednak z tego wychodzą.
Przede wszystkim zdrówka.
First and foremost, I wish everyone to be healthy. It's the most important thing. Secondly, I wish everyone to have a warm place to stay, which are hard to come by. Sometimes you need to stand in line for several hours or search in various places to find one. So far, I've been sleeping under the sky since the weather wasn't so cold. For the homeless, this day was very special. Thanks to Emilian Kamiński, they could feel the Christmas spirit and family warmth, which they so rarely have in everyday life.
Now, an invitation to the city of Gliwice. They built there a little gingerbread town consisting of 237 houses, 10 men of fortified fortress, a princess castle in the company of dozens of gingerbread men. There is even a chocolate train that emerges from the darkness, illuminated with the glow of Christmas trees. Obviously, the city smells of cinnamon, cloves and ginger, and I can bet that it wouldn't last. So if you happen to plan to visit the city of Gliwice, hurry up.
The Christmas spirit is running high in the Polish city of Gliwice. 3 local bakers have spent the last 4 months on building a model city made out of gingerbread. The masterpiece covers 80 square meters and is complete with models of houses, towers, 2 moving trains and even a windmill. Gingerbread recipes aren't complicated, but this one demanded enormous amounts of each ingredient. The recipe for a gingerbread model: you take 1,100 kilograms of raw dough, 105 kilograms of honey and 32 kilograms of spices. From this you make the gingerbread. Then, in order to add icing, you have to take 350 eggs, 30 kilograms of sugar and mix it all, add coloring and have 3 people sugar-coated for 4 months. You'll get it done. Rounding off the repertoire of uniquely handcrafted elements are gingerbread people, animals and trees, along with a smiling Santa greeting kids waiting for presents. And filling the air is the wonderful aroma of ginger and cinnamon. The Gingerbread Wonderland is on display until February 28th.
That's all for tonight. Stay tuned for the next show and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Hello and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. The forecast for tonight calls for a very rainy Christmas Eve. We can expect showers in Lublin, Wrocław, Zielona Góra and Białystok. Sleet will appear in Katowice and Rzeszów. The rest of the country can expect cloudy and partly cloudy skies. The temperatures will vary from 1 degree below 0 to 4 degrees. Tomorrow, the forecast calls for a very rainy Christmas day in Poland. We can expect showers throughout the eastern, southern and western parts of the country, and partly cloudy and cloudy skies in the north. It will be a very warm Christmas day, and the temperatures will reach highs of 4 to 7 degrees. That is all for now. I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and invite you to stay with us for Poland Daily Business.
Poland Daily Business Edition. United States formed the Space Force, and Senate and Congress gave money for this new venture. Definitely the space industry is very much growing all over the world. Also in Poland we have in our studio the representatives of the industry, Mrs. Krystyna Macioszek of GMV. You are a software engineer in the company and director manager of the company, Mr. Paweł Wojtkiewicz. Hello. Welcome. The Polish government is talking a lot, and since the years of the first public appearance of Prime Minister Morawiecki, he was then responsible for the economy. He was saying that Poland will focus on the high technologies. We will try to develop the jobs that have the highest income, the highest added value. The space business, the space economy is something that is upcoming, and few people realize right now the potential, but those who know should know. So the question to you is how the Polish government is looking at the space sector, how they are nurturing it, and is there a potential to growth?
Okay, so the space sector definitely is the most innovative one, and if our country would like to develop the innovative solutions, develop the innovating industry, we need to invest in space sector. And yes, of course, we have the Polish space strategy with the goals. We are part of European Space Agency. We are part of European Union, and this is.
But that's kind of strategy. That's derivative from the other countries, France, Germany, United Kingdom, that are pursuing this. Question is, do we see like our own Polish way in this business? Do we see our own Polish interest in developing this, or we develop this because other people are doing that?
Okay, to be honest, there are two ways. To be involved in European Space Agency programs with a big budget, or to have national space program. And for the moment, we don't have a big budget in European European Space Agency programs, and we don't have national space program. It means that, to be honest, there is not too much opportunities for the companies, Polish space sector companies, to grow. It means that without bigger contribution to ESA optional programs, it is impossible to develop space sector in Poland.
Okay, although we have a great potential, fantastic people, the ones who, for example, are designing the software for the existing actual top of the line satellites.
Yes, we have great students also here in Poland, and there is a great opportunity for them to take place in the space industry. But indeed, in Poland, it's not so easy to find a job in this industry, especially for software engineers, actually, but also for the mechanical engineers or any other. So many times these people, they go out abroad.
From your point of view, what is the specific of the space software? How is it different from, I don't know, the game industry?
Yeah, it is very different, because when I also talk with my friends who work in the IT industry, it is very different, because in space software, the software is something that has to work, which might seem strange or maybe obvious, but indeed it's not the case in any other IT.
Windows, do you?
No, we don't. And also this software is usually written in low-level languages like C or Ada, which are not so common currently in other industries. And also we put a lot of effort into testing, because writing a code is actually the easy and the fast part, and then there is the great effort to test it, because this software has to work, because in the orbit you don't have any ways to well, there are the ways, but it's more difficult to actually debug the software.
If the government representative turned to you and said, "Sir, we want strategy for next 30 years, and you are active in the space business, you have the satellite, congratulations, but please tell us why we should do that now."
Why we should invest into the space sector, right? Okay, so the return from the investment into the space sector is enormous. We are in the space sector. We are developing technologies which we are transferring to the other sectors. I think that infrastructure which we are putting into space is one of the elements of the critical infrastructure of every country. It means that to possess our national Earth observation satellite or telecommunication satellite, it's really important for the government, and it's really important for the development of the space industry in Poland. And it is worth to say that space technology right now is so common that we don't even realize that we are using it. Even right now, when we are transmitting television signal to the other continent, we are
of course,
not
that's
even realize that we are using.
Widely known example of this, and there is few but don't talk about Teflon right now, but
yeah, but investing into the space sector, the return from that investment, and we can read this in every economic survey. We can see that the return is really high.
Can a small country like Poland, relatively small to the comparing us to China, the United States, Russia, we are like really tiny ones. Can we benefit from this development of the space economy in the future? So let's assume that it's really growing up, that this is the oil industry in the 1870, when Mr. Łukasiewicz was building his first oil-fueled lamp. He knew that this is going to be huge. Are we in the same position now?
Yeah, everybody knows that space sector will grow and will be huge in the future. So we must be part of this game. Poland should be part of this journey and development of space sector in the world. And I think that in Poland right now we have companies with the capabilities and products which we can compete with the other companies.
Oh, and that's good progress. Let's hope so that next year will bring some decisive changes. Krystyna Macioszek, software engineer of GMV Company.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this conversation. Paweł Wojtkiewicz, director of GMV Company, was our guest tonight, and we spoke about perspectives of the space industry in Poland.
Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily Business Weather. The forecast for tomorrow calls for a very rainy Christmas day in Poland. We can expect showers throughout eastern, southern, and western parts of the country, and partly cloudy and cloudy skies in the north. It will be a very warm Christmas day, as the temperatures will reach highs of 4 to 7 degrees. In Europe, on Christmas Day, we can expect showers throughout the central regions of the continent and the city of Ankara. Sleet is to be expected in Helsinki. The rest of the continent will see partly cloudy and cloudy skies. The warmest spots on the map will be Athens and Rome at 15 degrees, while the coldest will be Moscow at 1 degree above zero. And that is all for now. I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and invite you to stay with us for further Poland Daily programs.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this is Poland Daily Culture. In this series of programs, I'll be talking to young Polish publicist and freshly baked author Ania Stępiak. Aniu, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Her first book, It's a Displeasure, just appeared in the bookstores. So let's find out what is her story. Your book is a novel, but it is also a form of criticism of the world around us. And you criticize politics, social relations, but even technology and language. I would say let's start with politics, with this division between right wing and left wing. And even though your character is more on the right wing, you especially focus on things which irritates him there. Among those people, those who find themselves as conservatives. So let's say what this criticism is based on.
Well, I can just reply briefly by saying, translating to English, only truth is interesting. I mean, I think I'm quite an honest person, and with the right, what I presented, it's okay. It's great to have beautiful ideas and repeat that we should be moral and that our country is so important, etc. in history, but it would be good also to look at, for example, our daily lives and how we behave in daily lives. So as just ordinary people, and I think that question, such questions should be asked by some of the people on the right.
Did they talk one thing and that they behave differently?
Definitely.
I couldn't stop laughing about the part about hygiene and washing teeth, wearing nice clothes and washing themselves as well. Do you think that people have problems with it?
I'm afraid we are revealing too much from this book, but okay, it's just my right to not only be critical, but just to be even more than critical, be, I would say, not very nice. But there are no names, so if anyone is feeling some sort of that I'm addressing it to themselves,
just go and wash yourself and change clothes. The most important are, and I think also the most natural, are your conversations between Marek and Juliusz, so his best friend. And he's more left-wing, I would say, and Marek is more right-wing, but they try to find a common ground, and they don't destroy their friendship also because of it, which is rare, because French, as we know, during the last 2 years of huge polarization in our society, friendships were lost, even relations in the family.
Just something that just came to my mind. Recently there was an interview in one of the radio stations. I will not mention the name. It's not really a politician, more like, I would say, professor of law, I think. She said that because she got a nomination for some sort of, let's say, political position, she got texts like, "I will not invite you to my home, I will not shake your hand, I will not greet you." And this was a message from a person, from her family, right? So I find it just horrible that people nowadays are so much not just divided, but I think those emotions in politics, they just cross out everything else in their lives, which is just crazy. And I hope that if anyone reads this book, then has some sort of idea that, okay, just we are all humans, and also
don't murder your neighbor or your cousin just because he has a different political opinion, because the
we can put it this way.
politicians usually don't kill themselves for
definitely probably opinions. Later they just hang out and
have
definitely
beer. Of course you criticize on also the left side, and usually by saying that things which they propose, as for example the same rights of protection of European flag as it has of a national flag, or some elements in the social stuffs, are ridiculous or are mediocre or come from not knowledge, the lack of knowledge of law, and pushing things which are also not that important.
Irrational, usually. Absurd, yeah. Well, the reason of mocking the left is also one of the main reasons why I wrote this book. I'm sorry. I mean, nothing personal, but just as my summary of my observations for years, I have to say that people who... It's also a problem what we mean by left or liberals, because it's hard to say. I would say it's people who just absorb mainstream news every day and don't really have deeper reflection. But anyway, from my observations, I think those people usually first are less eager to really accept people who have different opinions rather than people on the right. That's at least my personal opinion. And second is they often really lack knowledge on many subjects. I don't want to offend anyone, but it's just something I noticed.
And the common sense is not it's not so common after all, is it?
Definitely.
Especially in your book, it is like sometimes that the main character finds himself quite lonely, but not lonely only in his life, in a way that he, for example, because he's after divorce, but also lonely in a way of thinking, in a way of approaching things, that everyone would like to kind of fight him or just have these conversations. And he says, let's stop it, let's look at things differently. Is it sometimes a little bit your approach, the same thing which you feel as well?
Sort of, yes. And I have to say, when I actually was finishing this book, I was under big, I would say, impact of literature of Michel Houellebecq. I will never be even 1/4 of Michel Houellebecq as a writer. There's this parallel I made that people, at least in his books, are totally, I would say, degenerated. This nihilism is number one in the reality. And we still have something here which is valuable, and this is great. I would say slightly are heading in this direction. And I would say my message is like, hey, we are still people, and let's remain people, right? Because what he, for example, presents, it's a completely degenerated robots that only think about, I would say, in most books, sex, but it's not just that. It's, in the last book, there's even no sex. There's just being on the surface and not doing anything, living without any reason. This is, I would say, a warning.
Common sense is not that common. I would say it's a grand punchline also to summarize Ania Stępniak's new book, It's a Displeasure. And thank you for watching Poland Daily Culture.
Welcome back to Poland Daily History. We're talking about Polish-Jewish relations, and I'm joined in the studio by my guest, Matthew Termund. Matthew, thank you for joining us again. And if we could just continue our earlier discussion and look at the life of your father, Leopold, during the Second World War, to illustrate some of the points we were discussing.
Fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. We discussed sort of his growing up in Warsaw in sort of a upper middle class bourgeois family in the sort of wealthy neighborhood, and speaking French, being well educated. So he was, in 1939, he was attending university at l'École des Beaux-Arts in Paris when the war broke out. And at that moment when the Jews in Warsaw and other cities were being ghettoized, he knew not to go back to Warsaw, but he made maybe a little bit of a mistake. He went to Vilno instead, which was a Polish city of sorts, and a huge Jewish population, and he went to school there because the war and Hitler's machine had not reached there. He was also writing, and he was arrested as a subversive by the NKVD because he had this sort of bent toward calling out the truth, and that doesn't fly. And so he was arrested. He was actually put in a prison in Vilnius for quite a few months, I think almost 6 months, and then he was being shipped to the Gulag. And something happened with the train convoy, and he escaped, procured himself fraudulent French papers, and went to Frankfurt. And he became a waiter at the Grand Hotel in Frankfurt, serving the highest-ranking Nazis soup and whatnot. His theory, which was borne out successfully, was that it was safer to be in the eye of the hurricane than in the path of its destruction. Who would think that there would be a Polish Jew in Frankfurt, which was a capital of the Nazi machine, serving, Goering and Goebbels soup every day? And he wrote a very autobiographical novel called Philip about his wartime experience, and this Grand Hotel restaurant being staffed by expats. And so you had, peoples from all over occupied Europe who were staffing this hotel and this restaurant, and he would tell a story about how when there was a high-ranking Nazi, they would all line up in the kitchen in a formal sort of process, almost like ritualistic, where they would line up and the maitre d' would bring the soup and they would each spit in it. So this is sort of cinematic. It's in the book, and there's a great film producer who's making a movie of this novel, and it's a great scene that plays out so cinematically. And so he spent several years in Frankfurt. Then, as things started by 43, 44, started to shift. There was a lot of bombings of Frankfurt. He left for Denmark And he went to Denmark and he joined the Danish Red Cross as a volunteer. Now, we think he was also working with the underground there. He was eventually picked up and sent to a camp in Norway called Grini. And he was only there for a few months, and then the Russians liberated the camp, and then he came back to Poland.
Okay. That's just an amazing story. And this, sorry, but this film, do you have any idea when this film will be available?
Polish filmmaking, things go slow.
Ah, right, okay. But no, that sounds.
Yeah, it's something right out of Agnieszka Holland's Europa.
And then
when
when he came back to Poland, what did he?
So that was, interesting because he didn't know what to do. He was at sort of a crossroad. Everybody in his family was killed except his mother, who was liberated from Majdanek. She didn't hang out in Poland very long. She went straight to Israel. There's part of that sort of 1945 settler class of liberated Jews from all over Central Europe, but predominantly Polish. People forget that in Israel, the first language in the Knesset, just by virtue of numbers, was Polish, because there were so many people of Polish descent who had just been liberated and didn't want to be in Poland anymore for somewhat obvious reasons. And so they went to Israel. And his uncle, who, funnily enough, oddly enough, just providentially, he was also in this camp in Norway, Grini. So when my father was put into this camp, it wasn't a death camp, it was a concentration camp. So it was, all sorts of political prisoners and not necessarily Jews. And it was Norway, it wasn't, Central Europe, so it wasn't this chain of crematoriums like there were here in Poland and Germany. But his uncle Ignacy, when he was liberated from Grini, he didn't stick around long. He went to Melbourne, Australia, and there was a lot of people who made that emigration as well. So, come 1945, my father comes back to Poland, and he's not sure what his future holds, especially after Yalta, and he's at a crossroads. He wrote a book called The 7 Long Voyages, also autobiographical, where he's determining, does he stay or does he, hop a smuggler ship and go to Scandinavia? And in the end, he decided to stay, and his history in Poland from 48 on is very, very well known among those who look at this period as a anti-communist writer and dissident and highly censored, tortured intellectual, but somebody who never, ever yielded to the communist censors, never did what they wanted him to do. There are great stories of how he got blacklisted. Things like when Michał Lajczak, the head of the Polish government in exile in London, came back to Warsaw for the first time. My father was a sports journalist, and they were at a boxing match, and the spotlight went onto Michał Lajczak, and there was just a hush over the crowd because already the oppression had sort of started in. People knew that they were going to go on a Stalinist-style list if they showed reaction. So my father in the press box gave him a standing ovation. And the next day he was fired, and he didn't work for the next 11 years.
Oh, right, but very brave to...
Stubborn.
Stubborn,
brave,
yes,
yeah.
But that's what is needed, isn't it?
I like to think that's hereditary. Some here would argue to the detriment of the political scene here.
No, well, that's great, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Pleasure.
I know we'll talk more in the next segment, but
I hope so.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Poland Daily Travel. I hear those sleigh bells ring-a-lin, ding, ding, ding-lin, too. It's Christmas time, and the holiday season is especially special in Poland. As this series of programs will show you, Poland celebrates Christmas like no other. The capital city is covered in lights, and the Old Town is home to special Christmas market and ice skating. That's right, no climate change will stop Warszawians from taking to the ice. So we'll take a trip through the Christmas market and look at some of the items for sale and talk to some of the people who are selling them. We'll see the great Christmas tree and the castle bathed in lights. And we'll talk to a couple of longtime Warsaw residents from abroad, Jonathan Roy and Philip Goss, about what Christmas means to them. And especially, of course, Christmas in Poland. I'm Will Richardson, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and extremely Happy New Year. From Poland Daily Travel and everyone at Poland Daily. So that's ho 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 from me, and see you on the other side of the year.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Poland Daily Travel. This is your Wesołych Świąt. This is your Santa Claus. Guess what time of year it is? Obviously, you already know that. It's Christmas, and we're here in the Christmas market in beautiful downtown Warsaw, surrounded, even though the weather is chilly, a bit frosty, by people going through the market and looking for presents. I'll tell you something. If you have no regard for your teeth or your waistline, the fantastic thing to buy right here is candy apples and caramel apples, and this fantastic stuff. This is very popular with the kids, and not only, as we can see. Yeah. Oh, there's some tourists from various places here as well. At any rate, there's your Santa Claus. This is a good-looking fellow. Let's go over here and see what we got. This stuff is good. This is the special cheese you get in Poland. It's made by the fellas in the mountains. Now this stuff, it's made in Zakopane by the mountaineers. And it's really good stuff. Let me see if I can get some. Dzień dobry. Hello, hello. I wonder, what is a małe grill and a duży grill? What is duży grill?
Duży grill
is two?
Mały grill.
Aha. Duży and małe. I'll take a duży, okay?
One?
One, please, yeah.
Cranberry sauce?
Yes, ma'am. There we go. Thank you very much. Yep. See, you get this for 8 zlotys. That's a heck of a thing, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. That's a heck of a thing. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's the cranberry sauce, and that's with the cheese from the mountains. I'm going to try that and see how good that is. Mm. Very tasty. Mm. Dziękuję. Bardzo dobre. I said thank you. That's very good. Okay. Okay. Waffles, very, very nice as well. Aha, the chocolate stuff. Hi, how are you? You speak a little English?
Little.
Yeah? What have you got here? What are these, gingerbread?
Yeah.
It's gingerbread.
Yep.
Can I look at a couple and show them to the people?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much. What's your name, sir?
Chris, I'm Chris.
Hi, I'm Will.
Hi,
Nice to see you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah. Look here, folks. Here's one that says, I go for the holiday. Isn't that nice? Gingerbread is very popular in Poland. Here's one that says, Warsaw Old Town. They have a lot of things. Here's Christmas time with a heart, because we love Christmas. That's the idea. I don't know. I like Christmas. I don't know about you. But Thanksgiving and Christmas is the best time of the year for me. And we need some cheering up, because the days are short and the weather's not so good, so we can enjoy ourselves at Christmas time. How much are these? How much they cost?
It's 30 and 40.
30
this
and...
Is this small.
This is 30, the small one?
This is 30, yeah.
And this is 40, yeah?
40, yeah. Old.
Okay, let's go for... Let's see. What do you think? What do you recommend? What do you think is a popular one?
To Christmas or from... yes? Always different.
Did you try this cheese? It's very good, isn't it? Do you get sometimes?
Yeah.
Do you buy from her?
From Poland,
Yeah. But you buy from her, yeah?
Yes.
Maybe.
You want your...
What do you think is the best one?
Always beautiful.
They're all good, you think?
Yeah.
Let me see.
You can see it.
Maybe a Christmas tree, yeah?
You want
That one.
Christmas tree, yeah?
That one.
Christmas tree or...
What do you think, folks? Should I take that one?
Christmas tree. There's Christmas tree. Here. Here.
Or there's that one. There's a lot of Christmas trees. Or this one. I don't know, folks. I think this one's the prettiest. I'd take that one. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Here, sound man, can you hold this for me while I make another purchase? Thank you, sir. Very pleasant. Okay, stay with us for more of buying stuff from the Christmas market from Poland Daily Travel. We're having a lot of fun. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Good to see you. To see you. Good. And here's, you may recognize this jolly old fellow. That's St. Nicholas. That's right. And I've got my bag full of treasures here. The sucker, the Christmas tree. Somebody's going to be really, really happy with these presents. And the Santa Claus. Right there. Yep. And the people going by. Hello. I can't sit on his knee because he's standing. Otherwise, of course, that is what I would do immediately, as you're supposed to do. So, what I will do is sit in the sleigh and wait for the reindeer to show up and take me away. Stay tuned to Poland Daily Travel, where we're in the Christmas market in Warsaw. I'm going on to talk about Christmas with some friends a bit later. Stay tuned. Giddy up!